you're sitting here after 2 weekends, 4-2, in position to stay at the top end of this conference, we feel it's an opportunity to continue to grow and build as a team. It's going to be a road contest in the Pac-12. I think it's their first home series, so you take nothing for granted. We've got to be at the top of our game, and hopefully we continue to get the starting pitching out of our guys like Eli to give us a chance to win. But it's not going to be an easy thing. It's not going to be a gimme. And I throw records out the door. Same thing we did at Oregon coming in. Oregon was coming in on a roll. As we told the team, we were kind of searching at that time. Doesn't matter what that team's doing on a roll. Washington State, on the other hand, struggling a little bit. Doesn't matter. All that matters is first pitch Friday night, because they're going to be ready to play as we're going to be ready to play.
And how did you evaluate your team's performance this past weekend? Because even though you guys lost 2 out of 3, it seemed like you had a good chance to win 2 out of 3.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you got to find ways to win, and that's the shame of Friday night. It didn't start well. We regrouped in the dugout after the second inning and says that's some of the worst baseball I think we could possibly play at this level. However, we've got 7 innings left. Let's play some of the best, which I think we did. You can't control the past, but I think we know, that we're capable. That's a very good team. They're top 15. I think they were 13 or whatever at the time. And, you don't walk people, take care of the baseball Friday night. You're coming back on a bus 2 out of 3, feeling a lot better than we feel right now. But it's in there. I think I just heard his comments right there. It was just, a couple more guys need to get consistent on the mound to give us a chance to win 2 out of 3, and certainly 3 out of 3.
You said that when you moved Eli to Sunday, that there's 2 good things there. He can finish up for you if you've already done well, but if you haven't, then you've got your senior, to try to right things, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, he's a stabilizer. And I go back to Friday night. I mean, we lost that game because we gave him too many free passes early and throwing the baseball all over the place. But up until that point, Stan's been pretty consistent. And yes, you'd feel good going into Sunday if maybe you're sitting 1-1. But even at 0-2, to have him out there, we said we don't want to call it Sunday pitching. We want to call it good pitching. And I think he did exactly what we put him there to do, which was, unfortunately in that the Oregon series, it was to let's finish off a sweep. We got a good guy going on Sunday. Unfortunately, in the UCLA scenario, we were 0-2, but it felt good having him out there because you knew you were going to be in the baseball game.
You've talked a lot recently about kind of finding some consistent setup men in the 7th and 8th inning. Where do you stand on that right now?
I don't know that we have. I mean, honestly, I don't know that we have the luxury of saying this is who it is at this point because we've been a little bit up and down. That said, I think they're capable guys. It's just, it's easy or easier to manage when you know what you're going to get, even if it's a guy that's a contact. He's going to give up contact. There are situations in the game that can allow that. There are certain guys that are more ground ball guys. There are certain guys that are swing and miss, but you may have to live with the walk. As long as you kind of know what you're getting, you can plug that in and fit it in. The unfortunate part, for us right now up to this point is it's been a little bit like this. You don't know what you're getting. So I can't, we're going to go with the hot hand. It's in there. There's guys that have shown they're capable of doing it. Witness, Brady Corrigan on Friday. We haven't seen that this year. We knew it was in there, and it finally showed up. So it's taken steps of growth, looking for that consistency, but I feel confident in the fact that it may not be traditional in terms of a Friday, Saturday starter getting you 5, 6, 7 innings. You hand it over to a gap guy, then you give it to a closer. We may not have that luxury, but we do have enough talent to win weekend series.
How have you seen guys like Dylan Race evolve since the start of the season?
Yeah, I mean, he's progressed. His learning curve has been a little bit better. Some of the stuff that still the growth on the off speed, the consistency on that, but you have an idea that he's going to get in there, throw strikes, be aggressive in the zone. You can use that. And what my desire is that we get to a point where we don't fear the result. You just get out there and you compete, you be aggressive, whether it's offensively, defensively, and then let your abilities take over. I think he's done a good job of that. It just said, you know what, I'm going to attack hitters and let my guys behind me work, and it's worked out pretty well for him and for us.
Does Torkelson's power that he's showing right at the early part of his college career surprise you at all? Because he didn't hit that many home runs in high school? And is it because he's a little bit bigger, or some instructions he's getting here, or what do you think?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, I think he's certainly, you don't just wake up one day and miraculously have that talent. I mean, he's had it in there, but I just think it's the strength part of it. He's continued to get stronger. He's gotten more of his man body. I've gone back and looked at pictures of him in high school. He was, the frame is there, but he is stronger. I think Mike and Ben have done a phenomenal job just talking, because, hitting a home run is also getting in counts where you get something favorable to hit, and you have an idea of how a guy's pitching. And I think the mental part of it, he's a very smart hitter. And I think that contributes to that contributes to that success, in addition to just the physical piece.
Yeah, because he's not just up there free swinging, and a strikeout is just as likely as a home run. I mean, he's got to play discipline.
Well, he took the walks early. I was talking to Tim Healy today, and I said that's good and it's bad. Mm-hmm. It's like he has the discipline to take the walks, but we really don't want him walking all the time because it can do damage. If you notice, we changed our lineup a little bit to give him a little bit more protection. Switched him and Lyle for that reason. Okay, because Lyle doesn't walk much. But if you want to walk Spencer, okay, good luck to you. Now you're facing Lyle in. So I thought it worked out well on Sunday, and we're going to continue to do that.
You look at Hunter Bishop this weekend, finally gets his first home run. How do you see him coming along to this point? How encouraged are you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy, as we're drawing this up, he's done it at this level. He's proven that he can get it done. I think the more that he gets going, the more that he settles in, it's going to make us a different team. But, that said, what we need him to do at an absolute minimum is play really, really good defense. And he's been kind of bothered by the hamstring. He was back healthy this weekend, but I thought, the home run was nice, but he ran a couple balls down in the gap, which were important to us. But if he heats up offensively, we're a different team because of it, and we're expecting that to happen.
Vanderkoy's going to have some blips.
Yeah.
If you want to put it, is that how you saw what happened on Saturday, or was there anything more than that?
No, I mean he's been how do I say, dinged up would be, we held him out there for a while. He's probably going to continue to be, we're going to watch him cautiously. There's nothing wrong with him. It's just the bounce back period. The kid threw a lot in high school and summer, and he was up in the zone. But yeah, same with Sam. I mean, that to me was just a blip on the radar there, because those guys have been consistently down in the zone, and for whatever reason, we get like 4 innings out of those guys combined.
Right.
They both were just off. That's going to happen sometime. Unfortunately for us and for them, it happened at the same weekend.
What's the one area you've seen the most growth since opening day?
One area, just the infield piece, guys settling down and playing. I would say that there's a lot of first. Even last weekend, we were still battling with first. For probably 70% of our team, that was their first conference road series, and maybe that had something to do with Friday, the uneasiness. I don't know, but it's like just kind of settling in and realizing it's just baseball. I do like that, and I think the more we see that, the more experience these guys get. We get more consistent in just throwing. I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. It's like we throw strikes, we win. Most of the, I know that's not any different for anybody else, but it's like I think we're going to score enough runs. Our defense is going to be plenty good. We throw strikes, we usually win. So.
Last year you wore a lot of different hats. This year you had Kat come in, you have Ty in a role, and Mike Early is in an expanded role. Have you found your life to be a little easier from a head coach aspect? Having those guys around you and having
I wouldn't say. You're always this job. I tell people all the time. I always ask you, like, what do you do when it's not in season? Do you have another job? No, it's called recruiting. No, there's plenty of stuff going on, so I'm constantly busy. You just kind of refocus and reshape your priorities. But what it has allowed me to do, more importantly, I would say this, it has given the pitching staff more of what they need. It isn't about me in this equation on that piece of it. It's like I said it all last year. I think I said it, I felt like I shortchanged those guys because of some of these other things going on. I could not give them the time they need. What he's been able to do is give them the time they need. But as far as my daily stuff, I'm still still doing a little this, a little that, and about 15% of the time I get to come out here and work with players in the field.
Do you feel like you've had more time to dedicate to head coaching things?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, absolutely on that piece, and to communicate with more guys, for sure, no doubt.
Zane Strand, is he continuing to make the kind of progress where you can get him out there maybe even for a longer time?
We're building him up. He'll be built up this weekend. Just because of the circumstances, we didn't use him this weekend. We could have, we just didn't. Hindsight, maybe I wish I would have pitched him on Saturday. We could have used the work, but we did simulated yesterday, and he'll be ready for an expanded role this weekend.
Well, would he be able to throw more innings or more than once?
It's kind of a combination of more pitches or could translate into more innings, which the pitch count is slow to getting built up.
Okay.
You mentioned before that during games you'll keep track of like balls that are hit hard. What else do you keep track of during the
Our
game?
situational stuff. Are we putting the ball in play 2 strikes? But it's more of a situational and offensive thing when we're up to bat. But keeping track of just the details of not necessarily whether they got a hit or not, but are they individually controlling what they can control in that situation. And I guess one of the things in evaluating that, we still can a lot of room for improvement on our situational hitting. I think we need to get better on that. But that's kind of what I do during the game, and then talk how keeping track of how the guys are pitching them in patterns and make sure we're communicating that to our hitters.
Is that something that you, some information that you'll give guys who are in a slump, like, look, you've hit a bunch of balls hard, and then if they are doing well, it's like, well, you've had a bunch of at-bats that weren't so great?
Yeah, and I won't use specific names, but I would say, for example, we have guys on our team that are really good hitters, but when you look at them now over, what are we, 11, 12, 24 games in, there's a little bit of data now, but when you look at them in a specific situation, they're not having the success that would translate into the type of hitter they are. So when you look at that, you say, okay, hey, let's look at this scenario of when it lines up like this, what changes? Do you feel you're trying to do more, or are you trying to do something rather than just take a deep breath and be who you are? So it's valuable in that regard, for sure.
And do you total that up after like every game and every series?
Yeah, every game and every series. Yep.
So are you an advanced? Would you consider yourself like an advanced stats guy, like sabermetrics, all that?
I'm not smart enough.
So
no, it's a combination.
Yeah.
No, but I'm a little bit of a, numbers guy. Not. Let me back that up. I'm terrible with math, but I'm saying I pay attention to the numbers. How's that? I pay attention to the numbers, but I don't rely on the numbers because, and particularly at the college level, and I've had many discussions and dialogue with my peers in both professional baseball and collegiately, and I always say, man, in college baseball, you may have a guy that statistically looks like this, but he may come in that day after studying, 24 hours straight, takes a test, bombs his girlfriend, breaks it. So you got to play those things into it too, and so I'm kind of both.
Yeah.
A feel and numbers guy.
What impresses you the most about Drew Swift?
I'll tell you, the really cool thing about him is he's in every pitch. He is in every pitch. He's thinking, he's talking, he's communicating. He is, to me, the definition of a baseball guy. And then the physical part of it, he takes hits away. I think he's, from a shortstop perspective, he's what you want out there. When the ball gets hit in that direction, I feel really good that the play is going to be made. And so for him, it's the physical piece of being able to take hits, but it's also, I love, the mature mindset of him and his willingness to step outside the box and help all those around him too. He's always talking the game, always.
The
Where do you
players
think
still seem confident that they can get on a consistent enough winning streak here to get into the postseason discussion. Do you feel that?
I do, and it's funny because, and I didn't know this really until yesterday, because I try not to pay too much attention to that, but I looked recently, and I think we have a 7th strength of schedule in the country. So up to this point, we played a really good schedule with a very young team. We were starting to receive top 25 votes prior to the UNLV situation, and then of course what we did Friday night. So it's like we're right there. It's like you save 1 or 2 pitches or 1 or 2 innings, you're probably a top 25 team. You win 2 of those baseball games. you're probably top 25. So are we close? Absolutely. At the end of the day is you got